Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. I bring you greetings from St. Louis. It's just a blessing to be here. This morning, for our opening words, I bring you one of my favorite poems from Mary Oliver. Hopefully, you know who she is. She's a beloved lesbian poet, and she woke up every morning at 5 a.m. to observe the world around her. She took time every day to be taken by the wonder of the created world coming to life at the rising of the sun. In her own spiritual discipline of spending time to observe and to sit with curiosity and wonder, and then writing down her observations, she invites each of us to think about how our very lives can be a prayer. She invites us to consider how even the smallest decisions we make, like how we greet the day, can turn into an invitation to examine our convictions, to remind us of our values, and to help us turn our lives toward each other, toward the wild, and toward our interdependence. So this morning, I'm going to read to you a poem called Snow Geese. And because I'm good friends with Reverend Karma, I've seen lots of pictures of snow geese in Delaware. I've never experienced them myself, but I hope that this poem might speak to your spirits this morning. It's found in the book, Why I Wake Early. Oh, to love what is lovely and will not last. What a task to ask of anything or anyone, yet it is ours, and not by the century or the year, but by the hours. One fall day I heard above me and above the sting of the wind a sound. I did not know, and my look shot upward. There was a flock of snow geese, winging it faster than the ones we usually see, and being the color of snow catching the sun. So they were, in part at least, golden. I held my breath, as we do sometimes, to stop time when something wonderful has touched us. As with a match, which is lit and bright, but does not hurt in the common way, but delightfully, as if delight were the most serious thing you've ever felt. The snow geese flew on. I have never seen them again. Maybe I will someday, somewhere. Maybe I won't. It doesn't matter. What matters is that when I saw them, as through the veil, secretly, joyfully, clearly.
This is an open letter from you and me together. Tomorrow's in our hands now.
Find the words that matter, say them out loud. I'll make it better somehow.
Looking down from up on the moon is a tiny blue marble. Who'd have thought the ground we stand on
Could be so fragile.
This is a love song to the earth.
You're no ordinary world, a diamond in the universe.
Heaven's poetry to us.
Keep it science, keep it science, keep it science.
'Cause it's our way.
It's all.
It's not about possessions, money or religion. How many years it might live.
When the only real question that matters is still a matter of perspective. Looking down from up on the moon, you're a tiny blue marble.
Who'd have thought the ground we stand on
Could be so fragile. This is a love song to the earth. You're no ordinary world.
diamond in the universe. Heaven's poetry to us. Keep it safe. Keep it safe. Keep it safe.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Pickett, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to worship this morning. I'm one of the founding members of the Unitarian Universalists of Central Delaware, and I'm honored to serve on the Board of Trustees, as well as the Worship, Leadership Development, and Stewardship Committees. We're glad that you are here, and we hope that you will find ample room in this community for your spirit. We're so pleased this morning to have as our guest minister, the Reverend Laura Bennett. Reverend Bennett is the associate pastor at MCC Greater St. Louis, where she focuses on programming, community partnerships, and congregational care. In addition, Lauren coordinates conferences and events for the MCC denomination. As a graduate of Wesley Theological Seminary, she lived in Washington, D.C. for 4 years before moving to the Midwest. Coming from a community organizing background, Lauren is particularly passionate about working with the crucified of our time for liberation from systems of oppression. In her free time, she loves being outside, reading, and spending time with her partner, Asati, and son, Amit. Welcome, Lauren, and thank you for being with us this morning. In addition to our worship each Sunday at 10, let me remind you that we meet on Tuesday nights at 7 for a more informal time of check-in and sharing. Please consider joining us for that gathering. The monthly meeting of the Social and Environmental Justice Committee is at noon today. A separate Zoom link for that meeting is in our eBlast announcements, and all are welcome to attend. I would also like to draw your attention to a special interfaith candlelight prayer vigil for Ukraine. That will be tonight at 7 p.m. It's on Lockerman Street in downtown Dover, between City Hall and Townsend Building. It's right across from the library. And we're appreciative that David Roel Leclerc is our representative on the planning team for that vigil. And we're hoping as many of you as possible will be able to attend. Now, as we prepare ourselves for worship, let us take a deep breath and a moment of silence together. And know this, whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you've been, whatever you've done, whatever your religious beliefs are or aren't, you are welcome in this spiritual community. However you move in this world, how much or how little is in your bank account or wallet, however you are feeling in this moment, you and all of who you are welcome in this spiritual community. We are all enhanced by being together.
Thank you. Sorry. Molly Keogh. I live in Smyrna, Delaware, and I'm a co-chair of the Worship Committee, and I'm a member of the Social and Environmental Justice Committee. And now it's time for our chalice lighting. As we ready ourselves for our chalice lighting, let's bring to mind the Unitarian Universalists in the country of Ukraine. For the most part, from what we know, there are millions of refugees outside the country, but in fact, the refugees are inside the country. Very few people's lives have not been disrupted by the Russian invasion. Many UU groups in Ukraine will be yearning this morning for their congregations. Probably there might be a gathering here or there that are able to meet. But when I think about them, I think about how safe and comfortable and warm we are, and how we can light this chalice with them in mind as they are part of us. So we light this chalice, reminding ourselves that Unitarian Universalists around the globe light chalices in communion with us. Our chalice words this morning are titled, "There is Light" by Eric Williams. In the beginning, there was light, infinite and expansive, flowing out from an unseen center. Throughout creation, there is light, from the steady sun the glowing moon, the flashing meteor, the twinkling stars, and the auroras dancing in the northern skies. Within each part of creation, there is light, slowed down and held close by every cell and molecule, by each atom and element. Within you, there is light, the same light as the source, the same radiance that is in all creatures. May this small flame be a constant reminder to you of your true nature and your kinship with all beings. We'll bring this up. There's our cellist this morning. Please join me in our unison affirmation. The words are in the chat box. Love is the spirit of this church and service its law. This is our great covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our opening song this morning is hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us by Sally Rogers. This version features Brian Kenny on piano and Alina Hemingway on vocals.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Each week at UUCD, we include a brief UU moment in our worship service that serves to make us aware of and to nurture our connection to the larger body of Unitarian Universalists and the Unitarian Universalist Association that binds us together. For our UU moment today, we read some excerpts from a letter from UUA President, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray. She says, "Dear friends, this is a promising yet challenging time. Congregational consultant Susan Beaumont describes it as a liminal time, where we begin to imagine beyond the pandemic, but not there yet." She writes, "You cannot resolve liminality by planning your way through it. You must learn your way through it. Guide your leaders through cycles of observation, experimentation, adjustment, and iteration. This liminal time clamors for creativity and innovation, yet many of us arrive exhausted, grieving, and traumatized, with the well of creativity nearly dry. Perhaps embracing simplicity could guide us to the creativity and nurturing we most need. Susan's recommendation continues with an invitation to start with simple changes or simple efforts so people can learn together. Every congregation has different needs and realities. Take approaches that make sense for your people, your staff, and context. This is a time to support, not to judge. Let us learn from each other, mindful that circumstances vary greatly. Let us be flexible and compassionate as we go. Yours in love, Susan. And now we have a story for all ages today that is narrated by Penelope Cruz from the Nature Speaks series, and it is entitled, I Am Water.
Good morning, I'm Susan Gutierrez, and I currently serve as the Vice President on the Board of Trustees. This is the time, now our time for joys and concerns, when we offer one another the opportunity to share very briefly most in our hearts right now, life's celebration concerns. As you do so, we invite you to light a candle in your own space. Through the action of sharing and kindling a flame, we give energy to our best thoughts, meditations, sympathies, celebrations, and prayers. We hold these as sacred in our collective hearts. We would also like to invite anyone who is new to our community to introduce yourselves if you would like. We welcome you warmly and would be pleased to light a candle in honor of your connection with us and whatever joys and concerns you carry in your hearts. At this time, we'll invite you to change your view to gallery view in the upper right corner of your screen so that you can see everyone who is here. As you feel led, please unmute your microphone and share your joy and concern and light your candle if you have one. You can watch the mute signals in the lower left of each person's video stream to see if anyone else is unmuted. It's best if we can share one at a time. Please mute your mic after you have shared. We light one final candle for the joys and concerns that were not spoken by those of us here, and in solidarity with others in our community who could not be with us today. It's on me, sorry. Changing gears now a little bit. As Unitarian Universalists, a central part of our worship in person and online is the opportunity we all have to practice the art of generosity and the spiritual practice of gratitude. Our gifts to our congregation are what allow our communities to live into our calling and mission. We are grateful to you for the many ways you support our community, including your financial pledges and offerings. Your gifts matter, and it's one of the ways that you make this world a better place. For those who are making pledges or who want to contribute to UUCD, please visit uucd.org and click on Support UUCD for more information about how to donate online or by mail. For March, our Share the Plate partner is DIMH, the Dover Interfaith Mission for Housing. As most of you know, we help once a month with a meal for them. And thank you to all of those who help out. We'll be cooking again, I guess, in April. For March, our Share the Plate, oh, I'm sorry, let me jump ahead. All undesignated donations will be sent to DIMH as our congregation's contribution as we continue to support and build partnerships with like-minded organizations making our community a better place. Our offertory music is Change My Clothes by Dream and Alec Benjamin.
Don't lack imagination. I'm just too scared to try. Afraid that I won't make it. But if I never step outside of my comfort zone, here in my home, I'll never know where I could go. It's worth it to make some mistakes. You miss all of the shots that you don't take.
I really wanna change the world, but can't change my clothes. Wanna find a girl, but can't find my phone. I just lie in bed till the afternoon, dreaming about the things that I wanna do. If I wanna change the world, I should change myself. I should make my bed, I should dust the shelf. Should lie in bed till the afternoon, dreaming about the things that I wanna do. About the things that I wanna do.
At first my calculations seem bulletproof to me. There can be no humiliation without accountability. If I just stay home here all alone in my comfort zone. But now I know it's worth it to make some mistakes. You miss all of the shots that you don't take.
I really wanna change the world, but can't change my clothes. Wanna find a girl, but can't find my phone. I just lie in bed till the afternoon, dreaming about the things that I wanna do. If I wanna change the world, I should change myself. I should make my bed, I should dust the shelf. Should lie in bed till the afternoon, dreaming about the things that I wanna do. About the things that I wanna do. I'd rather find out than regret. Never try now, I won't let inhibitions take control. I'd rather fail than spend my life in a jail of my very own creation, of my very own creation. I really wanna change the world, but can't change my clothes. Wanna find a girl, but can't find my phone. I just lie in bed till the afternoon, dreaming about the things that I wanna do. If I wanna change the world, I should change myself. I should make my bed, I should dust the shelf. Should lie in bed till the afternoon, dreaming about the things that I wanna do. About the things that I wanna do.
I'm Mark Sherrill. I have recently taken on the position of coordinator of the Adopt a Highway project in connection with my membership in the Social and Environmental Justice Committee. I also sing in the choir. Our reading today is from The Source of Life, The Holy Spirit and the Theology of Life by Jürgen Moltmann. The opposite of poverty isn't property. The opposite of both poverty and property is community. For in community, we become rich in friends, in neighbors, in colleagues, in comrades, in siblings. Together, as a community, we can help ourselves in most of our difficulties. For after all, there are enough people and enough ideas, capabilities, and energies to be had. They are only lying fallow or are stunted and suppressed. So let us discover our wealth. Let us discover our solidarity. Let us build up communities. Let us take our lives into our own hands and at long last, out of the hands of the people who want to dominate and exploit us.
Thank you, Mark, for reading that reading. And thank you all for inviting me to be here today. I'm just so grateful to be here. And I know it might seem a little inconsequential to talk about clothes in the midst of war, but actually it's quite consequential. And so I'm really grateful to be able to talk to you today. I'm really hope for this time to be a little interactive. So if you have questions while I'm talking, feel free to put them in the chat. This feels a little bit different than a traditional sermon because I'm here to tell you about a challenge that I took on and its effects on me. So I love challenges. I don't know if there are others like you who love challenges, but if there's a push-up challenge, if there's a sit-up challenge, if there's any of those kinds of challenges, I'm here for it. I love those kinds of challenges. In the summer of 2020, when many of us were at home figuring out what we wanted to do, I walked 500 miles, did a challenge to walk 500 miles in the summer. So that's just a little glimpse into my life. Whenever I see a challenge, I'm like really on it to do it, just for fun mostly. But I saw this advertisement for this 100-day dress challenge, and I thought, I don't know, I don't honestly think much about my clothes. I just sort of wear what's in my closet. 90% of my clothes are black. A lot of them have been given to me. I don't really like to shop at all, but I like new things, right? Who doesn't like new things? Um, and so I don't really pay much attention to clothes, honestly. I'm always here for a deal. Who's not here for a deal? Yeah, look right at the clearance rack first. Um, so wearing the same dress for 100 days seemed actually sort of easy. I mean, it's not that different from COVID wear anyway. I found myself wearing the same clothes a lot during the pandemic, especially on the bottom half when no one would see me, since most of my life is on Zoom. And so 100 days to wear the same dress sort of sounded interesting. I really didn't anticipate that it would change my mind about anything, though. I didn't anticipate that it would sort of make me think much differently about the way that I get ready every day, about the things that I wear, and about the people that are attached and the stories that are attached in the garments that I'm wearing. And so today I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Right now, for Christians, which I am, we observe this time called Lent, which is where we observe sort of Jesus's ministry that brings him to the crucifixion, when he was crucified by the state, really, in a state-sponsored execution. And so, thinking about justice, thinking about our lives, thinking about what their meaning, thinking about communities is sort of what this time is about. It's a time when many people take on some sort of practice, like, you know, praying extra or doing something different that they don't normally do, or they take away something, they fast from something. You might have friends who fast from social media, so they put up a post saying that they won't be on social media for 40 days or something like that. And those practices that we take on during Lent or other times in our lives, we're trying to really carve away time to be with God and to be with the Spirit more. Those are times that are supposed to change us. It's not a challenge just for a challenge sake, but a thing that really helps us to look at our values in a different way. So even though this 100-day dress challenge just started off as one that was more akin to a sit-up challenge, it really became more of like a Lenten practice for me, because it really became more about living out my values in the world and living out my values in my everyday life. There's a few things that the website tells you should think about when you're doing this challenge. Some things that they sort of say that you'll think about, some things that they say that you should, some invitations rather for you to really consider doing this kind of challenge. And so I'm going to use those to talk a little bit about my experience of the challenge, and then to tell you a little bit more about why I think it matters. Before I get to that, though, I do want to answer a couple of questions. People often ask, can you wash your dress? Which it sounds like a silly question, but it's not. I can't even tell you how many people have asked me that. But you can wash the dress. The dresses are, this company that is promoting it is called Wool And. I'm putting their company name in the chat. Someone just asked for that. The website is wooland.com or something like that. And all of the dresses are made of wool, as you can tell in the company name. And, most of the wool experiences that I had were itchy sweaters. And I can say that these dresses are not itchy sweaters. I'm not really here to like promote the dress as much as I'm here to promote the practice, but almost everybody asks, if you can wash it. And I will say wool is much more breathable than so many of the fabrics that we wear a lot in our country, especially. And so I found that I only had to wash my dress every 10 days or so. I would hang it up in a well-ventilated area of our house and let it kind of breathe overnight, and it always smelled fresh. I sweat a lot too. I live in St. Louis. It's very humid here in the summer. I did this challenge in the summer, and I was extremely impressed that I didn't need to launder it more. The other thing people ask is, can you accessorize it? Can you look, make it look different, that sort of thing? And of course you can. There's all sorts of people who show all different ways to wear the dresses to make it look more interesting, so you're not just wearing the same thing every day. But they're quite versatile sort of things, and it's amazing what you can think to do when you only have one garment that you're really wearing. There's lots of ways to wear it. Some people wear it as a scarf one day just to switch it up, or as an undershirt underneath the sweater, things like that. It's quite amazing how you can be sort of creative about that. So there are some rules about the dress challenge, because I'm sure you're curious about that too. You have to wear the dress for 100 consecutive days. So you can't take a day off from wearing the dress. You have to take a picture of yourself in it. And then at the end, you submit that to the company. And of course, as a monetary reward, you get $100 for it, which is another incentive to sign up for the challenge, right? And so you have to take a picture of yourself wearing it every day. Most people do that by creating an Instagram. So if you're curious to see the ways that I accessorized my outfit, you can follow me on my Instagram, which this is so funny. This is nothing that I would normally do. So I'm going to put my Instagram handle in the chat. It's Practicing Simplicity. And so you can look at the ways that I accessorized my dress each day, and the way that the dress sort of followed me through all sorts of things. So those are most of the, big things. You're supposed to wear the dress for 8 hours a day, so you can't just like put it on, take a quick picture, and then put your jammies back on. So that sort of thing, right? So on the website, they tell you that one of the reasons you should consider doing the dress challenge is because you'll spend less time and money doing laundry and dry cleaning. It's pretty obvious, right? If you only have to launder your dress every 10 days or so, you don't have to do as much laundry. I have a son, he's now 12, and he goes through clothes like crazy because he does a bunch of activities. Those of you who have children might be familiar with that, or remember your own childhoods where you're going through clothes like crazy. And on Sundays is our laundry day. So this afternoon, that's what I'll be doing. And it was amazing to see my pile of clothes, which is really non-existent, mostly just undergarments, in comparison to the rest of my family's. And so that's quite amazing, honestly, to not have so many clothes. Another thing that they say that you'll learn how to get more wears of a garment. I was really surprised to learn that most people wear garments that they buy only 7 times, which is wild to me. Like I said earlier, I'd hate to shop. That's not a place where I like to spend my time at the mall. No shade to those of you who do. I know that that's something that a lot of people like to do, but that is not my story. But as I looked through my closet, I really was surprised at how many things I have that I never wear. And COVID really made me see that, because I found myself wearing this, like I said, the same clothes every day. I wonder how many of you can relate to that, and pulling out the similar things because they were comfortable and I wasn't seeing a lot of people. And so the idea of using a garment more and like really wearing it out is something that I'm not really used to. Usually I donate clothes that I'm more tired of, not that they're worn out and made into something new. And so that's one of the things that they talk about, is that you'll learn how to get more wears out of your garment. It's also true that because you're wearing your dress the next day, you take care of it differently. If you get a spill on it, you take care of it right away. or I got a hole in my dress about halfway through in the pocket. I had something sharp in the pocket of the dress and I had to mend it right away. I couldn't let it sit on a shelf for a couple of months with my mending pile. I just had to take care of it because I didn't want to have the hole get any larger. Another thing that they talk about is that you'll recognize what you need and what you don't need in your wardrobe, which I found to be very true. I have lots of things that, I bought for a particular occasion, like a wedding or some other sort of special occasion that I don't wear a lot or hardly need it's my lifestyle. I think the pandemic really showed how much I don't need a lot of dress up clothes. And so learning to see the things that you really need in your life and learning to accessorize in a different way to dress something up, something very basic and dress it up is a lesson that one learns doing a challenge like this. Another thing that the website talks about that you'll learn is that you'll realize that your clothing doesn't really define you. Hopefully that's not news for anyone here. But the website talks a lot about, and people's experience talk a lot about the spotlight effect, the feeling that everyone is watching you all the time, right? That people are going to notice if you wore your pants for 4 days. People are going to notice if you wore that scarf another day. People are going to notice if you wore that same shirt. What I found is that nobody notices. The people who were in my life almost every day, no one noticed that I was wearing the same black dress for 100 days. I mean, that's a third of the year and people didn't notice. It's sort of amazing how much people are not paying attention to what you're wearing. They're paying a lot more attention to what you're saying. They're paying attention to the presence that you bring into the room. They're paying attention to how you make them feel. They could care less if you're wearing the style of today or yesterday or tomorrow. It does not matter. What matters is that you are comfortable in your clothing so that you can just be you. It doesn't matter what other people think because they're really not paying attention anyway. Another thing that they talk about is that you can have more money to spend on experiences than clothing. If you're someone who likes to go shopping a lot or you do a lot of retail therapy, that would definitely be true. If you're someone who doesn't really do a lot of that, then that may or may not be true that you're spending more or less money. And a huge reason, and actually the leading reason I wanted to do this challenge is because it reduces your impact on the environment. And that's sort of where I want to focus us in on today, are the practices that we can do in our everyday lives that bring us to remembering our common connection to the earth. I love the UU tradition. My grandfather is a Unitarian. I have many Unitarians in my family. I'm actually not sure at all why I fell into Christianity. It's kind of weird. Maybe I'll be a Unitarian later in my life too, because I just resonate so much with the principles. But I love the principle that we are all interconnected, the seventh principle that is upheld in Unitarian Universalism. It's so important to think about that. And this challenge really helped me to think about that in a different way. Reducing our impact on the environment is something that we can all do to not only give back to ourselves, but give back to future generations, to make sure that people are able to experience good life. I think we all know that there's huge consequences of climate change that are all around us, that people experience every day, that maybe even we ourselves are starting to experience in a new way. So thinking of practices that can help us to remember our common connection to the earth are essential, even if they feel inconsequential, like choosing what to wear that day. I saw a chat and someone in the chat saying, is there something for the guys? There are things. There are t-shirts. There's another company called Wool and Prince. I'll put them in the chat too. And they do the same challenge for men or people who like to wear shirts and not dresses. That's not everybody's thing. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can do that too. But this is for everyone. And it's not really about doing a challenge, but thinking about the things that we're wearing thinking about the kinds of fabrics that we have on our bodies and where they come from. While I was doing the challenge, most people join this Facebook group, and it's with people from all over the world doing the dress challenge or the t-shirt challenge. And you meet people who are living their lives. And like I said, it's 100 days that you're doing this challenge. And there's a lot that can happen in 100 days. Just think of your own lives. I mean, I heard your prayers and concerns today, your joys and concerns today. There's so much of life that happens in such a short amount of time, right? And so thinking about that and thinking about all of the things that can happen in 100 days, there were people that would post about things that are going on. They would ask for prayers, ask for community. There were people who got together for tea to support one another because they found such community in this group of people who were also doing this challenge. I really wasn't expecting it to feel so meaningful, honestly, to have all these people who are really strangers who started this dress thing for all sorts of different reasons, but came together because they found a place where others shared their values and saw them for them, not what they wore or the kind of person they tried to project themselves to be, the person that they were and are. It's quite amazing. The group, like I said, is from all over the world and all different age groups. So there were people in their 90s, there were people in their teens and high school doing this challenge. So it was also a really neat way to get to know different people that I would probably never be able to interact with. I loved the sort of practice of having a uniform, you know? Some of you might have a uniform because of the jobs that you do. I'm curious to know what you think about that. Many people have uniforms that they wear for work. Some people adopt uniforms. This is sort of silly, but like cartoon characters adopt uniforms, right? We know exactly what Bart Simpson is going to wear every day. We know what Marge is going to wear every day. And they don't change their outfits like we do. Even when they show the closet, it's just the same garment in the closet over and over again. If we think about some of the people, the famous people in our world, you know, Steve Jobs is known for wearing that black turtleneck and talked a lot about his sort of uniform for the day. Many people adopt a uniform not only because they need to, but because it's something that just takes one of the decisions that you have to make out of your life. There's so many decisions that we make every single day. So taking one of those out and just saying, I know what I'm going to wear today is one thing that you don't have to think about when you already know what you're going to wear. You already know how it will feel. You already know how you like it and how you like to accessorize it. It's already done. In this time of shifting out of the pandemic, I love the reading that we had today from the UU president. This idea of simplicity is something that I really grasp onto. And I find in my life is getting so busy and there's so many more demands on my time than there were 2 years ago, right? And so the practices that remind me of the things that are most important, even if they're silly, like what to wear, I find so much grounding in them right now. So even just the simplicity of knowing exactly what I'm going to wear is such a beautiful thing. The biggest learning, though, that I want to spend a little time on today and bring us to close with thinking about is the difference between fast fashion and slow fashion. Just by show of hands, has anyone heard those words before? Yeah, a couple of people. Yeah, I hadn't either, but this is another thing that this community really brought me to. So fast fashion is most of the clothing that we buy, the things from the Gap or from Old Navy or H&M or any of those kinds of big box stores that are in all of our cities. Fast fashion, there's no official definition, but the whole idea of fast fashion is that that the clothes are cheaply made, they're quickly manufactured, and they go in and out of style very fast. So when you think about some of those stores, there might be basic clothing that they all have, you know, like the Gap has lots of jeans that you can wear for years. I know I have jeans that I've had for 10 years from the Gap, right? But they also have all sorts of seasonal clothing that they're pushing all the time to get people to buy new, If you're on any of those email lists from any of those kinds of companies, you know that they're always pushing new things. They're always trying to get you to buy something on sale. They're always going to try to get you to buy the thing that's in fashion. The idea of slow fashion is the opposite of buying quality clothing that's ethically and sustainably sourced and is meant to last for years and years, even decades. You know, even this jacket I'm wearing today is a hand-me-down from someone else who had a very professional career before I did. So those sorts of garments that you can think of that are in your closet that were passed down, those sorts of garments in your closet that are maybe more expensive that you would mend and not just throw away or donate. Fast fashion is one of the leading industries in the world. There are 300 million people employed in the trending clothing industry, just fast fashion alone. The amount of water that it takes to produce the cotton needed to make one cotton t-shirt is enough for a person to drink for 2.5 years. Isn't that wild? Think about how many cotton t-shirts we all have, how many, you know, things we go to and we get a t-shirt or events that we have, to have that t-shirt be made, that much water goes into it, the amount of water that you would drink in 2.5 years. Some of you might remember this term of fast fashion really got popularized and known about in a wider way in 2013 when the Rana Plaza factory complex killed 1,134 workers. And that's when a lot of the companies were revealed of who were using some of these places to make their clothing. So in the rubble, they found all sorts of garments from many of the stores that most of us have clothing from. When there was investigation done on some of the ways that people live there, they found that most workers were earning $68 US dollars a month for the whole month. It's not enough for people to be sustained by, and most people live and work in those factories. And so some of their wages are also being used for rent and for food, and they're taken away and garnished out of their wage to be able to pay for those things. So many of the clothes that we donate to Goodwill or to other places end up in the trash because there's not a high demand for used clothing. Every day, or every second rather, there's a garbage truck's worth of textile that is put in the landfill. Every second. I don't say this to make us feel guilty. We can't act on things that we don't know about, right? This isn't something that people are teaching us in school or something that is promoted. It's not this challenge, this talk, any of that is not to make us feel guilty, but to make us think differently about how we work, how we live, how we dress. In the end, this challenge for me wasn't just a challenge. It wasn't just for $100. It became a moment of conversion for me. It became a moment that I really looked at my closet and decided I didn't want to keep doing the same things that I'd been doing. I've donated many garments, which I hope don't land in the landfill. But the more important thing is I've decided to not buy as much clothing. So this year I'm doing a challenge where I'm not buying anything unless it's to replace an essential thing. I already have too many clothes. That's been very revealed to me in the pandemic, and I don't need to buy more. So some people after this challenge, they go the capsule wardrobe thing where they try to have 33 garments for the season. And that's everything from shoes to necklaces to shirts and all of that. If you're interested in that sort of thing, you can look it up. Others just look at the idea that our most sustainable closet is the one that we already have. So we might as well just wear the things that we already do, exchange garments with other people if we're tired of wearing the same things, instead of going to the store every time. Looking at our world and our environment, it's easy to say it's not up to us as individuals to make these changes, because there's no way that I could ever even wear enough clothes to fill a dump truck that goes to the landfill. Maybe my garment is one of those, but it's definitely not the whole thing. But isn't it true that if we all do change our practices, that it really does matter? I think about the early days of the pandemic about 2 years ago, when we all stayed at home and we saw how clear our cities could be, how much change we could really make to do something good for our world if we all do it together. So today I want to invite you to think about the practices in your everyday life. You can even just close your eyes for a moment and think about the things that you do when you first wake up. Those things that you touch, those things that you do, those things that you consume. Every day we're faced with thousands of ethical choices. And one of those that we have to encounter is, what will we wear? It's meaningful to think about our practices every day, those daily rituals, because they do shape us into who we want to be. And so as you're thinking about those things that you do just to greet the morning, what can you do, or how can you think of your morning rituals as ways that invite you into the world afresh? You can open your eyes again. Mary Oliver taught us that waking early, we can watch the day come to life. And by observing that, we can change our habits and change our priorities. What we eat and what we drink can help us to align our values. How we dress can align our values. Maybe for you, the closet isn't the place to start with thinking about those rituals where your values don't already align with the values that you have for the world. But it might be a place worthy of examination. Maybe you too have fallen victim to the woo of fast fashion. But today I want to remind you to remember the story of your clothing. To think about the factory where it might have been created. Before you buy something on the clearance rack, think about if that piece of clothing is worth all that water. Sure, it doesn't make a huge difference if you buy it or not in the grand scheme of things. But if we all stop buying it, that will make a difference. If we tell our friends to stop buying it, that will make a difference. In all of our practices, that's the best we can do, right? Because we have to remember that we are community, that in even our smallest, most inconsequential decisions, they can draw us toward one another. And so today, I hope that you can think about some of the things that you have, think about some of the practices that you have, think about some of the ways that you can influence other people, even thinking about the garments that you wear, and to take them as an invitation to look towards simplicity so that we can focus on the things that truly matter, to build up our communities, and to do the work that we need to make sure that those places that want to dominate and exploit the most marginalized don't win. So let our lives be prayers, friends, from the beginning of the day to the end of it. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Lauren. Our closing song this morning is a special video Lauren will share. It's "We Are the Ones" by Sweet Honey in the Rock.
So this video that I'm going to show has some clips from some of the things that I discussed a little bit about. So you'll see some protests that have been done across the world in support of garment workers. And you'll also see a little bit of the pollution and environmental degradation in the first part of the video that I was talking about. As we hear these words, and you can sing along, they're going to be on the bottom of the screen. As we hear Sweet Honey in the Rock and maybe even sing along with them.
We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. 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 We are the ones, we've been waiting.
So as we go forth into the rest of our day, I hope that we can all take a moment to think about the small things that we do and the big things alike and our interconnectedness to all of our world for good things and for evil things. And may we work for the good in our world. Have a blessed day. Thank you so much for having me today.
Please join me in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our virtual worship has ended, but our connection to one another and the earth endures. Go blessed to be a blessing for others.